Let's go to the Buffy's Catering Hotline. We're joined by ESPN analyst, former coach, Seth Greenberg here on the program. Seth, good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us and always being so accommodating. Just your thoughts on Buzz to Maryland, kind of the domino effects, why Maryland, and what does this do to A&M?
Yeah, I think the dominoes effect is from again on an outsider looking in. If you look at Buzz's track record, it's 5 and 9. I mean, he's done a great job at A&M. He brought enthusiasm and energy back. They had great success. I don't know if they've hit their ceiling or not, but I guess in his eyes, that Maryland and that opportunity was better. I don't know if it was a breakdown in the administration's communication with Buzz or vice versa, but he felt like a Texas guy going back to Maryland didn't make any sense to me. But obviously, there's a cause and effect, and there must have been something there that drew him to the opportunity to coach at Maryland in the Big Ten.
Okay, Coach. By the way, my name's Olin Buchanan. I would just ask you, again, from the outside looking in, how does A&M react? Who are some of the guys out there that you think would be really good head coaches, and maybe some aren't even head coaches yet that the Aggies should be interested in?
I think the big thing is I'm not big on listing coaches that are employed somewhere else. I don't think that's right to that coach who's in the middle of recruiting and transfer portal and things of that nature. I think it's probably most important for someone to get someone in there that understands what A&M is all about and wants to be part of that and looks at A&M as a career job. Now, I thought Buzz Williams was the perfect guy at A&M when you guys hired him. I thought it was a situation where he's going back home. He has roots there. He has a connection there. Obviously, when he first got the job, he had a great passion for everything that was A&M. I don't think you have to have a Texas guy. I think you have to have a guy that just says, you know what, we can win at the very highest level here. We're going to have the resources, and I'm excited to represent A&M because of all the great traditions that it reflects. I'm listening to that commercial right before you guys came on the air with me, and that's why you want to come to A&M. That's the collective responsibility, the passion, the ownership, the genuine concern that others have for the good of the group. So I don't like to speculate on coaches that are sitting coaches. It's just not it's not a right thing to do. I've been in that seat, and it's not fair to them. It's not fair to the school they're working for, and it's surely not fair to what they're trying to do in terms of recruiting in this crazy world of the transfer portal.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. You mentioned the outside looking in also. How do you think nationally, guys like yourself that aren't here perceive Texas A&M basketball?
It's a great job. I mean, me personally, come on down and hire me. I think it's a great job. I mean, I think you can win it. You got resources, you got facilities, you got infrastructure, you got passionate fans. You're in a great league. If you come in the top 12 of that league, you only NCAA tournament every year, and people want to go play there. I mean, that's you got a state that's rich in talent, and say, well, Sean Miller just got hired at Texas. That's great. There's so many players in that state that if you get the right guys that buy into the good of the group, get the right guys that are going to play to win, if you get the right staff, quite honestly, that gives you the relationships that you need, whether it's in the portal or coming out of high school. I think like a lot of people make big mistakes of living just in the portal. You don't need to live just in the portal. You high school guys and get them to be proud of what they're doing at the school they're at, develop them, get them to buy in, obviously, with revenue share and collectives and things like that. You can find ways to supplement their patience, maybe. But I think that A&M is a great destination because you've seen in the last 5 years, or 4 years, or 3 years, if you win, people are going to support you. And there's great ownership because you have a great alumni base. To me, it reminds me a little bit of like Virginia Tech on steroids.
Talking to Seth Greenberg here on TexAgs Live. Seth, do you understand kind of like the mixed emotions from an A&M perspective to where we really appreciate Buzz? We felt he hit his ceiling, and it was probably good for both parties for him to move on?
Yeah, I don't buy the ceiling thing because I mean you never know. I mean the next season could be a bust or it could be a Final Four season. I mean he needed to recruit some more shooters is what he needed to do. I mean they played so hard and they were so disruptive on the glass and defensively, but eventually you got to make some shots. I mean that's the game, and the game is to put the ball in the basket, and you want to stop the other guy. I think that, look, what he did was he has a system, and he recruited to a system, and he got those guys to play so hard, and they always represented A&M in a positive way. And I guess here's the but side of it, but, you've got to have a complete team. You got to have a mixture, and you've got to have a blend. You can be hard playing, tough physical team that rebounds. That's Michigan State. But, Michigan State struggled shooting the ball this year, but most times they shoot it pretty well. You've got to use the resources you have, but you've got to have roster construction is the most important thing. I have a formula for roster construction. One of the parts of that is you got to have shot makers. You got to have shot makers. You got to retain the right guys. You've got to bring in the right guys. You've got to probably mess around a little bit internationally, but you got to have guys who can make shots to complement your hard playing, tough physical rebounding guys, and they just never seem to get those guys. I don't know if by plan or guys didn't develop or, I look at Wade. I mean, Wade could make shots at the end of the game. It was, early in the game, they struggled making shots. So, look, what Buzz did was amazing. He's a heck of a coach. But sometimes, like I said, the five and dive, and the longer you're someplace, obviously, expectation changes. Without a doubt, expectation changes. And also, people get tired of, maybe who you are and how you do it. I mean, that's just the truth. And fan is short for fanatic. You can't make everyone happy all the time, but he surely had a good run. I think the biggest thing is if you're not in line with your athletic director and your administration, if you're not seeing eye to eye, it's an impossible job for both the administration and the coach.
First of all, Seth, after that part about the, hey, you got to put the ball in the hoop, I've always respected your opinion now. I think you're just a certified genius. We've been saying that forever. Okay, you said, hey, hire me. Okay, we're going to tell Trev Alberts to make sure we listen to that. If you, when he calls you and he says, hey, we're going to give you the job, how do you go about building that program? How do you go about getting those shooters?
It's all evaluation. I mean, it's really simple. It's all evaluation. You've got to understand there's a give and take in everything you do in recruiting, but it's 100% about evaluation. I mean, there are guys out there that can make shots. There are guys out there that can rebound. There are guys out there that can defend. You want to get a bunch of 6'7" athletes, multi-positional players, but you also got to get guys that can make shots. And you can find those guys, and you can find competitive guys that also are skilled. And look, some of those guys are more demand, but I mean, I think that's the situation. You've got to have a staff that's locked into one international, and also in your state, like how you put together your staff is important. You've got to be. Texas A&M is a national brand, but you've also got to be able to recruit the state. Texas A&M is a national brand, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to have some international connections to fill voids. And Texas A&M is a national brand and a destination that you can go in the portal and find shooters. And I'll give you for example. Look what Florida's done.
Yeah,
Florida, right there, backcourt. Walter Clayton, he can make a shot. Iona, Will Richard, he can make a shot. Belmont, Elijah Martin, he can make a shot. FAU, you can find guys that will transfer up that can fill those voids because they have a body of work. Now they got to also have the other characteristics that you're looking for, but that's doable. It's those guys are in demand. But I mean, it all comes down to evaluation, guys. I mean, it's really that simple. Putting together a staff of coaches that can evaluate, have contacts and networks. Hey, very, very important. But then evaluating guys that fit your personnel and fit your university and fit, basically your identity. You can't trade off. You can have both. You've just got to find both. And I think probably for A&M, the best way to do that in a quick way is finding those guys in the portal.
Seth, I appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much again for joining us. You always come and you're always accommodating. Thank you, sir.
Good luck to you guys.